Deep in the shadows, I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other.
Hi everyone, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is CeeChronicles. If you're joining us here for the very first time, I post fragrance reviews on this platform and would very much appreciate it if you did consider subscribing. Now, to those who are returning, thank you so much guys for the continued support. And please check out my second channel, CeeChronicles Unscripted, where I focus on just my life outside fragrance reviews. So there's a lot of vlogs that I drop on that channel every other day. And also check out my PayPal link if you'd love to donate to this channel, because I do not have a paid partnership, affiliate links, paid promotions and sponsorships, or a thank you button because of geographic location. Today I'm focusing on the Fragrance World 2023 releases in retrospect. I dropped a video here on the 31st of December last year, and I said, guys, please excuse me, I'm not able to run through the other houses because we've run out of time. The year had ended, and most of you guys, went into the comment section to say, please just do a Fragrance World one. So I'm always happy to be of service, guys. This is going to be Fragrance World fragrances in retrospect. Most of the ones that were released in 2023. However, there's going to be one or two odd ones that were not released in 2023. For instance, these ones. Now, I'm showing you these ones as a pair, and they're sitting on our number one. Why? Because they are flankers of each other, drawing inspiration from the Parfums de Marly Delina DNA. Now, this is called Shalina, inspired by Delina, the original. And this one's called Shalina Exclusive, inspired obviously by Delina Exclusive. Now, these fragrances, guys, are both rose forward. You're going to get a little bit of some incensiness there. These fragrances, I gave a 10 out of 10 solidly, because I personally feel they put Fragrance World on the market there in terms of being a house that offers very affordable fragrances, but with good quality. If you are looking for a Delina clone, this nails it. The only con to both of them is they tend to take a really powdery turn, which I feel is there in Delina Exclusive, so I can excuse this one, but in this, it's a bit amped up there. Lasts till the next wash, 85% feminine leaning, but 15% of maybe the males will be able to carry this DNA, guys. And they sit in on our number one. The second fragrance on the lineup is one that I really felt bad after discovering it when I was actually fishing out my Fragrance World fragrances. This one's called Franc 63.55. This is a fragrance that I forgot I had, so never got the chance to bring a review of this fragrance. This draws its inspiration, guys, from BDK's Gris Chanel. Now, I noticed that Lattafa has got one called Liam Grey, and a lot of people have gone crazy about that one. That fragrance is at par with this one, as well as at par with what it's drawing its inspiration from, which is, BDK's Gris Chanel. Should it be for some reason that particular Liam Grey is expensive, then maybe this would be a great alternative. Now, into the fragrance itself. Expect some cardamom there wrapped around a very creamy sandalwood. A DNA that comes across as almost tamed, but still speaking, if you know what I mean. It is just like a soft, but kind of like aggressive, soft fragrance. I don't know how to explain it when it comes to this. This may also be a fragrance you may need to test out, especially if you're not too big on the cardamom based fragrances, or especially if you're not big on the sandalwood forward fragrances, because that is what you're going to get mostly from this very creamy kind of backdrop there, sitting on very subtle woods. I'm trying not to make this about reviewing. Okay, so I gave this one a 10 out of 10. Now, the profile itself in terms of lasting power is going to depend because this performs differently from individual to individual. So I'm going to speak personally about my experience on 10 to 12 or even 15 sprays, because I'm a heavy sprayer. This one goes up to 8 hours or somewhere thereabout. This is one that's going to be different, in terms of performance, depending on your nasal palette. Both genders can use this without a problem. It is called Franc 63.55. a 2023 release. Third on the lineup is another one that they dropped, okay? This fragrance had me rushing to purchase it, thinking, oh, this was going to be a chocolate bomb. And that is because somebody had actually listed chocolate, on their website with this fragrance. Now, sorry to bum you guys, this one does not have chocolate, or at least to my nose, right? But it does have like a nutty thing, a nutty wrap up, which, because it's semi-sweet there, maybe for some it mixes to like a chocolate concoction. Good news about this fragrance, guys, is if you are looking for 1 million Lucky, because that one's been discontinued, this fragrance is at par with 1 million Lucky. It does draw 70% masculine to my nose. I just gave this one a 7 out of 10 because it has that fresh accord to it. It is very kind of airy there in presentation, kind of summer leaning. That woody, nutty, honeyed, sweet DNA you're going to get from this. Reapply after about 6 to 7 hours, and it's the third one on the lineup. And then they gave us Icy Roses. Now, I feel when it comes to fragrances that dupe some of these big houses, okay, like this one is drawing its inspiration from Kilian's Roses on Ice. A lot of people tend to say, okay, if it's a Gris Chanel or if it's a BDK clone, I'm just gonna buy it because BDKs are expensive and stuff. Now, caution when it comes to this. They nailed this fragrance, right? Why I know is I do have a mini of the actual Kilian Roses on Ice, and I wore them side by side, and I can outright say, if you love this DNA, save your coins, just go for this, okay? However, why I say caution is this is one of the weird fragrances on the market in terms of how it presents itself. It's not off-putting, but what they should have said was maybe cucumbers on ice. Now, imagine cucumbers on ice. You put your nose on there, it's a whole lot of nothingness, if you will, okay? Now, I'm not saying this fragrance has no scent. This fragrance does smell of something, but I am saying if you're expecting a bold, rosy, fragrance, you're not going to get that. What you get from this is like a light, sherbety sweetness and a realistic feel of like a raw cucumber, like you're cutting into your cucumber and you don't even put like black pepper and all those sort of things on that cucumber, and you just lift it to your nose there and you get wafts of a whole lot of like a wateriness and aquaticness there, and then you imagine a very diluted rose. That's what you get from this one. Now, I give it a 6 out of 10, not it because it misses the mark when it comes to being a clone of Roses on Ice, but this may be one you want to test before you just jump there, okay? And another thing, of course, is because the profile is very watered there in terms of presenting as aquatic, it doesn't last a long time. So you've got to reapply this one after about 5 to 6 hours. It's quite intimate as well. It gives me unisex vibes, but it's pretty odd. It's sitting, guys, on our number 4. It's called Icy Roses. Belle Dolce Red Delice is a fragrance I added to my collection simply because this is inspired by Kayali's Eden Juicy Apple. And I must say, kudos to Fragrance World. They nailed it. Of course, I don't know why they had to put that. That was totally unnecessary. When I saw the bottle online, I actually thought it was like a sprayer, okay? But enough said, it's not about the bottle. If you're looking for a Kayali's Eden Juicy Apple clone, this one does represent that particular fragrance to a T. Performance is almost the same as well. I get a fragrance that I need to reapply after 5 to 6 hours. I get a very girly, sweet apple toned fragrance there. So this is gonna lean 80% feminine. Now, let me clue you up on something. There is a counterpart to this that is called Bella Dolce, period. Now, that's a Xerjoff Kuro dupe. And that fragrance, guys, did not stay on the shelves for so long. And I was bummed when I got to discover that it is a Xerjoff Kuro dupe, because I was like, why on earth didn't I buy that? And that fragrance has become harder and harder to find. Comes in exactly this bottle, but a blue one. If you're looking for a fragrance that's gonna walk the walk and talk the talk, a presentation of a heavy duty, juicy floral at an affordable cost, because Xerjoff Kuro is not one of the cheap ones, then I would say run for the blue one if you can get it. Back to this one. This one, guys, gets a solid 10 out of 10 from me because it does interpret that Eden Juicy Apple to a T, but it is a fragrance that you need to reapply. I don't get a beast performance from Eden Juicy Apple as well, so this is why I just gave this one a 10 out of 10. And then Fragrance World gave us what they called the Recollective Collection, and the bottles come in this Guerlain, you know, look-alike type of bottle. I'm just going to show you 3 and then we move on to the other ones and we'll go back to the Recollective Collection because there's quite a lot there, so I don't want to exhaust, you know, you guys in case you're not interested in this particular collection at all and just make it about these, you know, one after the other. So I'm going to show you 3, then we'll move on to another collection that they had, and then we'll go back to the Recollective Collection. So they gave us a Pepper So Spicy, inspired by Guerlain's Apis Valise. Okay, if I am butchering that, pardon me guys. This from the collection after White as Tuberose is my utmost favorite. I like how odd this fragrance is. This is not your fly-by-the-night fragrance that you've smelled a gazillion times. Talk about spices being thrown in there, coriander, cloves, chili, that sort of thing. It is a unique juice. To an extent, you may need to test this. However, if you're a person who loves your food spicy, like the Indian dishes, this is just going to be a fragrance you could possibly just buy or blind buy, if you know what I mean, because it does give me Indian kitchen type of vibe there. Just gave it a 9 out of 10 because it gives you that burst of the spices, and you would want those to go on and go on. But this fragrance midway, I'm going to say 3 hours in, makes a U-turn, like a complete U-turn, where it turns soapy and powdery there. That is the reason why I knocked 1 mark off it. Otherwise, this would have been a 10 out of 10 for me. You know, it is that time, it is that point when it makes a U-turn and then becomes like an almost crowd-pleasing, soapy, powdery scent that I feel, I just wish it would have stayed the way it was, you know, with that burst of spices. A host of dried spices, you know, curry, chilies, that sort of thing. This is unisex to my nose because it's either you like the smell of hot spices or you don't. You want that burst to reactivate, then you may need to reapply this one after about 4 or 5 hours, and then it will last you possibly, you know, the whole day. So it's called Pepper So Spicy, guys, sitting on our number 6. The 7th one, drawing its inspiration again from Guerlain, is going to be Fresh as Citrus. Talk of a citrus with a staying power. This is citruses on steroids, especially that like a bergamot, lemon thingy, you know, coming to the surface there. That's what you get the most. And it works with a lavender, but the lavender is not doing the most, but there is of course lavender, so there's a spiciness to this. It is a citrus that if you douse yourself with it, you know, thinking I'm going to go in the heat and it's going to be blown away, this thing might start harassing you. I remember seeing a comment from somebody saying, oh, I tried that fragrance, that was too much. Okay, so that's how this citrus presents. It is drawing its inspiration from Le Frenchy Lavende. Do take note that Guerlain has got Le Frenchy only. This one is Le Frenchy Lavende. Very stubborn citrus there, and for that I gave it a 10 out of 10. Unisex to my nose, genderless, because citrus is a citrus, is to say that you like them or you don't. So the citrus endures to an extent. You're gonna get compliments, and it's a fragrance that's gonna leave a trail there. I'm gonna say for about 2 hours people will be able to smell you, okay? After which you're gonna be in a scent bubble where anyone who's about 3 meters around you will be able to smell you, lasting the whole day. So Fresh as Citrus is the 7th one on the lineup. And if I didn't mention, guys, from this Recollective Collection, it's not all of them that actually draw inspiration from the Guerlains. So if you're going to go for this and say, okay, I'm going to buy all of them, because since they're bottled in this, they are all going to be drawing their inspiration from that. No, Fragrance World played us when it comes to that. And now this is one of them. This one's called Leather So Rare. To my nose, this fragrance, guys, draws its inspiration from Tom Ford's Ombre Leather. I'm actually thinking whether I should spray it. No, I'm not going to spray this one because this is quite strong. It will literally just corrupt the whole space here where anything else I smell is probably going to just have this. It's a very woody, heavy, leathery, to an extent incensey fragrance, guys, with a mossy twist in the mix there, leaning 90% masculine, unless as a woman you've had an experience with a lot of fragrances, because it does have like a very stubborn woodiness there together with an aromatic spicy tone to it. This one lasts till the next wash, so that's why I said I'm not even going to spray it, guys. It lasts till the next wash. If you love that ombre leather type of DNA, you're definitely gonna love this one. I gave it a 10 out of 10 because what's to fault except for the fact that if you don't love, heavy woody fragrances, heavy leathery fragrances, then you would find a fault in this. Quite polarizing there, quite heavy, very room feeling there. Okay, so this one is called Leather So Rare, and it's sitting, guys, on our number 8. Okay, guys, so we're gonna jump to Pink Fame, a fragrance that draws its inspiration from Alien Goddess. Now, Alien Goddess is a pretty or fairly new fragrance on the market, in the sense that I don't think that fragrance is more than 2 years old. So if you want a budget version of it, this one's gonna be it. Fragrance that has a coconut tone to it, together with that vanilla weight, sitting on a bed of white florals, guys, with the jasmine doing the most. I gave this one a 10 out of 10 for longevity purposes, because this fragrance, whether it's 5, 6, 7, 12, 20 sprays, still has that lasting power that is impressive. It also leaves a massive trail, so if you wear your fragrances for compliments, this one's going to do it for you. If you're a man and you love your jasmine, this one's going to do it for you as well. However, it does pull 80% feminine to my nose, so this definitely, guys, without a doubt gets a 10 out of 10. Franc 107.9 is a second fragrance that they gave us in this bottle. I think I did review it. This twins with this in terms of the bottles, and I think it was only these two that they bottled like this. Now, both of these fragrances draw inspiration from the BDK, but this particular one is a Rouge Smoking clone. Now, I'm going to give it a little spray there in the air and tell you my thoughts. If you love cherry, tonka, vanilla mix there, you're gonna love this fragrance. Very present cherry working with that tonka. Now, the fact that it clones Rouge Smoking doesn't mean it's smoky. It was also the reason why I went in store to sniff Rouge Smoking, because I thought maybe the fragrance one was missing the mark because I wasn't getting any smoke. Now, Rouge Smoking itself does not have like a smoky thing going on. I didn't get it from the original, and I don't get it from this. I rated this one a 6 out of 10, guys. Not because it misses the mark. Like I said, it is at par with that fragrance, but because the longevity of this fragrance sucks. This is a 4 to 5 hour type of fragrance, and it is a fragrance that you just wish could do more, because it is such a pleasant delight, serving you one of the most refined cherries on the market, but just kind of being so soft there and being so intimate to an extent. If you haven't used the BDK Rouge Smoking, or you haven't interacted with that fragrance, this fragrance shares a little bit of similarities to Tom Ford's Lost Cherry or Atar Collection Halter Night, minus the booziness there. Unisex to my nose, so anybody can wear this, but if you don't mind reapplying, it's going to be a delight. MOA Wood is certainly a fragrance I had to drop here. This, by no means, shape or form, is a 2023 composition, but we're doing the Fragrance World fragrances, so we might as well just dump it in there, right? This, guys, is your cafe mocha represented to a T, with a little bit of some woods there, sweets, lots of chocolates I get from this fragrance. So this is one fragrance that is a safe blind buy for both men and women, as long as you like a woody toned chocolatey type of fragrance. They're gonna remind you of a little bit of a mocha right there. So the name MOA Wood was absolutely befitting, for this particular fragrance. This is a banger. I gave it a 10 out of 10. I get 6-7 hours where I need to reapply after that, but I don't mind, because I just love the fragrance nonetheless, guys. Unisex to my nose, and the cherry on top is it gets better with time. Lineup, guys, is Picky Rose, a fragrance that draws its inspiration from Tom Ford's Rose Prick. Now, I bought this fragrance out of curiosity because I do own Rose Prick, and I wanted to see to what extent Fragrance World had nailed theirs. And I can absolutely tell you guys that this is a 9 out of 10 in terms of representing that fragrance. To some, it's going to be a 10 out of 10. I just simply gave mine a 9 out of 10 because it does kind of take a little bit of a powdery twist there, but everything in this fragrance, guys, will have you not missing much from that particular rose prick. So if you love that DNA, you're absolutely gonna love this one, guys. This one is unisex to my nose, as long as you do not mind fragrances that have turmeric as a note in them, fragrances that have Sichuan pepper. 9 out of 10, lasts till the next wash. It's called Picky Rose. Cocktail Intense, guys, is a fragrance that's twinning with Icy Roses. So I'm pretty sure by now we know that these two are drawing the inspiration of the Kilians, especially from the liqueurs. Okay, now this one is a fragrance at par with Angel's Share. A lot of companies weighed in with their versions of that fragrance, but it is this particular one that I think is almost one-on-one. Like, you cannot tell the difference. I do have an Angel's Share Mini, and if I spray either arm and asked you to guess which one was which, you probably would not know the difference. Okay, so Cocktail Intense vibes exactly like Angel's Share, guys, if you were looking for that alternative. However, let me say this, and I get this from both fragrances, this has got like an oily presentation to it, something as you're going to get from the original, right? It also has that cinnamon forward thing, like a bit of a heavy feel to it. This is an example that I mean by heavy when it comes to this. If you have, or you like fruitcake like myself, you know how heavy, you know, the fruitcake feels like, not in terms of weight, but just how rich it feels. That's how this fragrance feels like, and that's exactly how Angel's Share feels like. So I feel this is one of the most closest clones on the market. So I gave this one a 10 out of 10. This one tends to be intimate, and I find that that's the same with the original anyway. It doesn't project much. Unisex to my nose, anybody can wear. This one is called Cocktail Intense. Now we've gone back to that Recollective collection, and this time I have in my hand Vanilla So Sweet. This, guys, is a fragrance that a lot of us thought was going to draw its inspiration from Spirituous Double Vanille from Guerlain. And I don't know, guys, this is one fragrance that just lacks an identity to my nose. When I did a comparison video with my daughter, I asked her what she thought of this fragrance, and she was also conflicted as to what she thought of it. It is a fragrance that is indeed a vanilla forward, but has nothing to do with Spirituous Double Vanille to my nose, or at least I'm going to say it misses the mark. It feels as though they added, that oil that you get from this that I was talking about. It feels as though there is like an imbalance in terms of notes there, where the vanilla is trying to come out, but there is like a heavy note there weighing the vanilla down. Okay, so it is not a refined vanilla like that of Spirituous Double Vanille. So this is certainly not your Spirituous Double Vanille clone. I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. It's going to be one I rate the least, because I don't know what it represents. Does have the vanilla, but can't compare it to anything. Maybe I got a bad batch. I don't know. This is unisex to my nose. Lasts for about 5 hours. 4 out of 10 for me. And we move on to the next one. Ebony Fume is a fragrance I think they released in 2022. So I did say that there's going to be 1 or 2 stray ones here that are not exactly from the 2023 releases. Now, this Ebony Fume draws its inspiration from Tom Ford's Ebony Fume. If you love woods in your fragrance, if you love incensey fragrances, smoky, leathery, they're masculine to the nose, that is what I get. It is a fragrance that draws 80% masculine, although women can totally wear this. I'm saying if you are into girly fragrances, this might not do it for you. That leather is also on a bed of like an aromatic, spicy thing, that is fusing together with all those woody, heavy notes in there. It's not as smoky as the name would suggest, like as in fume. Don't, have this make you think it's going to be like the by the fireplace kind of smoky. No, this does not have that. It's just like an incensey, delicate type of smokiness. There's just a delicate touch to it, not a wood burner type of, smokiness. I give it an 8 out of 10. On 10 to 12 sprays up to 15, which is what I usually do. This fragrance pushes 6 to 7 hours. So if you are that kind of person who just sprays maybe 4 or 5 sprays, it might be a fragrance that performs dismally on. Barakat Gentle Gold is sitting on number 15. And this fragrance is the reason why I cannot forgive Fragrance World for this. This is one of the most refined vanilla. This draws its inspiration, of course, from Gentle Fluidity Gold, a fragrance with a very refined vanilla. It also has juniper, berry. It just comes across as very soft and delicate. And to an extent, the way the vanilla is done in Gentle Fluidity Gold, which is a fragrance that this one's trying to be, is the way the vanilla in Spirituous Double Vanille translates to me. So this is why it was very easy for me to dismiss this one by saying, no, this either missed the mark or I got a bad bottle, because it doesn't come across as that smooth, soft vanilla. So if they could do this, I'm pretty sure they could give another shot and maybe giving us an actual clone for Spirituous Double Vanille. This certainly gets a 10 out of 10 because it's that soft vanilla sitting on an embery backdrop. So that is the mix here. In its softness, it does endure. Velvet Rouge is a 2023 composition fragrance, guys, that draws its inspiration from YSL's Rouge Velour. I did smell Rouge Velour at some point, and I would say this fragrance is at par with that particular fragrance. It's a very rose forward, type of fragrance there, a bit musky, but very floral. Let me not isolate just the rose. It's a floral fragrance. The DNA in itself kind of draws 75% feminine, but yes, men can wear this. The only reason why mine is still there is it kind of reminds me of something that is in Elixir Le Parfum. I don't know why. And there is something there that is in Elixir Le Parfum that I do not like. I know it could be the honey or whatever, but there is that thingy, that kind of annoying thing that you get from Elixir Le Parfum, and I get it from this a little bit. So that is the only reason why it's full, but otherwise it's a 10 out of 10. Great lasting power because it's quite a piercing floral. 17 on the lineup is Pose as Rose. Now this is a Guerlain's Rocherie clone, okay? And what I can say about it is it's a very delicate type of musky rose, kind of mature, a cherry intended for, say, somebody in the 30s going upwards. This I'm gonna give, guys, a 8 out of 10. I think is fair for this fragrance, because it does smell pleasant, but it's another one that you have to reapply, because I'm not sure whether it's just supposed to interpret as soft, because I haven't interacted with that Rose Cherie, the actual thing. It doesn't have a great lasting power, guys. This is unisex to my nose, but 60% feminine leaning. It's called Pose as Rose, and it's the 17th one on this list. White as Tuberose is the second from the last on this lineup, guys. And if you remember, when I presented Pepper So Spicy, I said there's two from this collection that I absolutely love, and these are my utmost favorite, guys. I love the uniqueness of Pepper So Spicy. Nothing beats the way this fragrance is so awkward but pleasant at the same time. And then this, guys, this is beautiful. This draws its inspiration from Guerlain's Musk Ultra Blanc. It is an enjoyable tuberose fragrance sitting on that milk note, a very realistic milk note there. I gave this one a 10 out of 10, and it could be just bias because I absolutely love this fragrance. The performance could be better, but I don't mind reapplying it after about 5 to 6 hours. This is unisex to my nose, but I'm gonna say 65% feminine. The last one on the list, guys, is going to be Optimistic Her. This obviously looks like a Burberry fragrance, and it does draw its inspiration from Burberry Her Elixir. And I do have another clone within my collection that draws its inspiration from that particular fragrance, and it's called Rave Now Women, which is the pink one. Okay, now if you're looking at both clones for Burberry Her Elixir and you're wondering which is which, the two fragrances smell the same, but this one kind of takes a mature turn. While the Rave Now takes like a creamy strawberry youthful thingy, this one stays serious. This definitely gets a 10 out of 10 performance and everything. If you like sweet, feminine, crowd-pleasing fragrances, you're gonna love this. Lasts, let's say, about 7 to 8 hours. And it's the last one on the lineup, guys. It's called Optimistic Her. So that's a wrap, guys. Those were fragrances from the fragrance world housed within my collection, focusing mostly on the ones that were introduced in 2023. However, we did drop in some that were just, part of that house. So do let me know what you think, guys, about the fragrance world fragrances in general, if you love them, if they're hits or misses, and which ones you think, have tickled your fancy from this video. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section where we obviously discuss more about fragrances. Do turn on post notifications, guys, while you're on this channel or while you're on CeeChronicles Unscripted. That way you get to be notified on both anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one, and remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.